crafted gloves is that yes, it raises the minimum acceptable quality level for gloves. You can get some good ones pretty cheap, but it also in turn, in proportion, raises the ceiling, the highest of the high gloves. People's notion of what's prime for gloves goes up accordingly. Wow, that's bad. Pretty naked helm. You've got Magic Find with pickup radius, which has no synergy whatsoever. Too low to even bother. Even with triple sockets, this wouldn't sell, because you'd only be able to get the dexterity up to around 150, and the vitality is just barely in triple digits. And a single good resist does not cut it. You'd need a really strong armor component or a resist all. If these were above 20%, like 21 and up, gold find, I would take a look on the auction house, but they're not. Just because of the high dex is a decent bonus for somebody. For some little bot that wants a little DPS. Well, it's got decent intelligence, it's got a decent life gain, and it's got arcane power on crit, but there's no life component, there's no socket, there's no resist component, there's no crit on the helm. Even if you put in all three in many different customizations to try and appeal to an audience, you're not gonna catch their eye with that chest. Same goes here. Even with good double strength gems, you've just barely broken into triple digits on the strength, and then you've got a wasted lightning resist, a wasted durability, and a wasted life regen affix. It's just such a shame. Alright. Nope. Nope. Now, for boots, movement speed plus gold find can be just as valuable as gold find plus pickup radius. If you have the trilogy of those three, then you've easily got boots in the 7 figures. And it'll go up very quickly based upon how much gold find and if you have perfect movement speed or not, or if it's 9, 10, 11. You'll be amazed at the numbers people can get. I believe I was looking up earlier, there are currently no perfect boots in the auction house for bots in terms of like 25 gold, 12 movement speed, and 7 pickup radius. There was like half dozen boots that matched 24, 11, and 6. And they were all 15 million and up. got gold find, but it doesn't have a socket, so it's only got half of its potential. Bad knife, moving on. Okay, so here's a cold damage bow, and it's got attack speed. So while it doesn't have a crowd control proc, this will still be viable to somebody for their scoundrel. So I'll look into listing that. They really do have to have a decent weapon DPS though if they're not going to have a crowd control proc, because you're either gearing your scoundrel for damage or you're gearing him for knockback, freeze, whatever it may be. I just as a side note here, I did get the that Kimbo's gold for my scoundrel, so depending on whether I'm doing magic finding or I'm going into Act 2 or Act 3, I switch out for this one. So he's got a basically 4% chance for knockback, and then also a close to a 5% chance for mobilization. And I searched the entire auction house and I found the only Kimbo's gold with attack speed on it as well, so it's basically just a flip out for magic find. But it's incredibly noticeable. He shoots into a pack of mobs and it's a couple of them are knocked back, a couple of them are mobilized. It's great. It's really rewarding to see a constant visual reminder of how much he's contributing as well. And hopefully with the new legendaries later this month, I'm hoping that there is a cold bow or a cold crossbow with some interesting proc abilities, or maybe some legendary rings with some proc abilities, because that's the one thing really missing. He can have it on his amulet, he can have it on his weapon right now, but it would be excellent if a ring popped up with one, and basically getting a whole nother 5% proc out of it. There is a life percent modifier here, however, there's only the 2 sockets just aren't enough to make all those numbers add up well. Intellect, vitality, and not much else. Too bad that wasn't life on hit. I think life on hit caps at just under 300 on rings. I'll have to look that up. I know I've seen them for around 250. Pretty wasted amulet here. Cold damage, crowd control reduction, and thorns. It's pretty sexy. Okay, intellect, vitality, physical resist all, and a pickup as a bonus. Intellect and vitality are really low in the double digits, but it does have 5 very attractive stats in a row. No waste. So I will look it up. Bracers, you're really going to want some crit chance and a much higher primary stat and a life component. Playing around with the Scoundrel this last week, it's really made me think more about the potential for stacking my own character with like chance to freeze or chance to knock back on some of the pieces. The problem is the best ones, a stun or a freeze, they don't appear on every gear slot. They really do mix up the different crowd control procs on different gear slots, and a lot of them aren't very appealing or worthwhile. So I'll just take a peek at this. It's got a level requirement reduced by 10 and some good life on hit. So I might look this up. Reduced level weapons, it's really a hit or miss on the auction house. One day there's going to be some options, the next day there's none, and you can get away with selling yours for a decent amount. So I think it's best to shop around at the right time to sell your piece. Okay, a whole lot of nothing. And I haven't even had a gold find plus pickup radius item yet, have I? This isn't going too well. And go through all these Hellions and Dread bows here. Or Revenant bows, I mean. 825 and some strength and intelligence. Darn. Strength and dex. There's really good dex and vitality. I'm going to look this one up. Okay, cold damage bow. Unfortunately, it just has a bleed, but it's got a ton of vitality. There's no attack speed and there's no crowd control proc, but if this had crit and a socket, you could get a $500,000 for it, but whole lot of strength, but numbers are abysmal. Okay, so this has a 17 level requirement reduction, so we will be taking a look at this one. Plus 250 intellect, so let's see a wizard wearing that. That life percent modifier is not going to be enough, unfortunately. It's only going to come out to maybe 1800 life, which is like 50, 51, 52 vitality for a 30,000 health character. So if you consider this an intellect